Hi, I'm Vinny Silvano from 5 Rings Creative. I've spent the last 5 years of my life helping real estate agents improve their marketing, elevate their sales game, and understand what's going on in this crazy world of real estate. Come with me and I'm going to show you exactly what we're building to help you get through 2020 and beyond when it comes to your social media strategy. Our strategy guide is broken down into 5 distinct elements. Let me take a moment and go through just a little bit about each one. Number 1, we want you to define your audience. We want you to go through and identify the top 3 market areas that you want to work in and think of some details and some other ways that you can help improve and showcase that area. Number 2, we want you to establish what specific social media channels you're going to be using in 2020. Does this mean you're a Facebook person? Are you an Instagram person? Are you a snapper? Do you think you're going to be only working in TikTok? Are you on Reddit? Where are you? And along with establishing your channels, we're going to offer some insights into how much you should be posting per day on each one of those channels and really what our recommendation is going forward to increase your organic searchability. In number 3, we're going to identify all of the different real estate topics that you can post about, comment about, create content around, so on and so forth. Number 4 is huge. It's the biggest part of social media right now. We're talking about creating a video content plan. So not only do you have to have a large-scale social media content plan, but you also need to have a strategy for doing explicitly video content going into 2020. Are you going to be a person that goes live regularly? Are you going to pre-record video and audio like right now? Are you going to be hiring other people? Are you adding video tours to every listing you get? What are these big pieces of video content that you can use and build a framework around that can propel you throughout this next year and give social media exactly what it's looking for with high quality video content? And last but not least, number 5, creating a content calendar. We think it is one of the most important things you can do heading into a social media strategy. If you sketch out your ideas on a calendar for 365 days, it will give you a jump start like you've never ever thought was possible. Not only does it jog your memory when you're coming up with things to do, but it gives you the insights to know that if you're shooting a video in 2 weeks with that loan officer, how am I going to get prepared? What am I going to do? If you head to our store right now, you can pick up our content calendar for only $5. That's it, $5. 365 days worth of ideas. Pick it up right now. First off, we want to go ahead and define our audience. So, defining your audience can happen in a multitude of ways. You can go through your past transactions. You can decide whether you're going to be commercial, residential, etc. This is mainly for residential. We like to identify the top 3 market areas you want to work in within this next year. So go ahead and take a moment and write those down on your guide right now. And when you're thinking of these areas, don't just limit yourself to high value, high dollar, high turnover, whatever. Think expansively. Look at the MLS, look at your data, look and see who's actually moving into these areas. Are you going for move-in areas, move-down areas, move-up areas, new homeowner areas? Once you've written down those top 3 market areas, go below and start writing down a few additional details for each one of those market areas. Think about affordability, think about pricing, think about the landscape, think about public works, think about the school districts, think about everything. Just jot down a few notes. Do they have some historic landmarks within them? Is your office located within them? Do you live within them? Whatever it is, just write down additional details right there. This next section can be a little tricky. Of course, we operate by fair housing laws within the United States. So when we're describing our ideal customer, remember, we have to stay within those lines. You can't choose male versus female, young versus old, millennial versus boomer. It just doesn't work. You can't include those in whoever you're going after because honestly, your advertising doesn't even impact that. So when you're coming up with marketing messaging and coming up with advertisement, it has to apply to both sexes, to all ages, to every education level, across the board. Okay, so this next section is pretty powerful. Are you part of any local Facebook groups or pages or anything like that right now? Take a moment, write them down. And while you're writing them down, think about all of the content that goes through. Do you see a pattern? Are you part of any mom groups, local sports groups? Do you notice any trends within this group? What styles of content goes on within them? Go do some research, go look them up. Spend a couple extra minutes and go through some of those posts. See what people are talking about in your local groups.
That is one major way to stay relevant within social media as a real estate agent in 2020 and beyond. Next up, we want to start thinking about ourselves. Think about how we relate to other people. If you've been going through any of those groups like we mentioned before, you'll probably start noticing some patterns. You'll start noticing that the more creative the posts are, the more organic the posts are, the more true and real the posts are, the better they work, right? And it's usually across the board, whether it's your personal profile, business page, Instagram, Facebook group, whatever it is, right? So you need to think about yourself. What are some things that are unique to you that can help get your content across? We've had realtors doing everything. Some of them play the piano, so they'll do a quick little piano ditty and then start talking about some real estate stuff and then jump back into the piano. That's a great way to keep people entertained, but then also keep them informed. And it also fills a lot of the other roles for pillar content. One way to still work within the lines of fair housing is to start thinking about personalities. What style of personality do you feel most comfortable with? Are you a musician? You would clearly feel much more comfortable around fellow musicians, and they probably work much better with you, right? If you're a comic book fan, you would probably find a lot of good side conversation talking about what's happening in the Star Wars universe or the Marvel universe or whatever than you would if you were just putting out generic ads for one thing or the other. So think about it. What helps define you, and how does that relate to other people? Go ahead and write that down right now. Next up, are there any specific broker programs that your broker offers? This could be offers for local businesses. This could be offers for local large-scale employers. In Pittsburgh, we have UPMC, and we also have Allegheny Health Network. Those are two competing hospital systems, but both of them have advantages within many of the brokerages around here. Maybe it's just a discounted commission, one versus the other, but they're usually fair across the board and only offered to those specific employees of those two hospitals. So think about that. Does your brokerage offer any specific discounts to anyone? Any way that you can show that through a group or a local page? What a better way to get in front of local people for specific reasons than giving them also some savings on top of that. So go through any of your special broker programs and see if there's anything that could apply with what we've already been talking about. You would actually be pretty surprised. Number two, we want to establish what social media channels you're going to want to utilize in 2020 and beyond, and also identify any engagement suggestions you need for each one of those platforms. For instance, on Instagram, how many times do you need to post per day? Do you post in the morning or evening? Do you use stories? Do you not use stories? Do you have both a business page and a personal? Let's take a moment and let's go through that. Okay, so right at the top here, we have our Facebook personal page. As you can see, we only have about 5 different examples of things we recommend to real estate agents. What you won't find on here is Snapchat, TikTok, and any other variant. Those are the 2 new bad boys on the block. We see a lot of the advantages that come from both of those are found in both Facebook and Instagram. Now, if you love Snapchat, we continue to tell you to use it. There's so many ways that you can use Snapchat to help your real estate business, but you will find that in a completely separate video series that will be only about those 2 things, right? So we'll have one for Snapchat, and we also have one for TikTok. But if we're sticking to our list because we think these are the places that you desperately need to be on going into 2020, that you desperately need to be on in 2020, number 1, Facebook personal. Number 2, you need to have a Facebook business page. Number 3, we think you should have an Instagram business page or at least an Instagram profile at minimum. Number 4, we think that you should have a Twitter, and we believe that you should be using it as a way to research and cultivate as opposed to a way to spread your marketing message. And number 5, we 100% think that you should be jumping back into LinkedIn, but we really think that it helps if you have the utilization of video content or a blog or a personalized website. So without those things, we're seeing that there's a little bit lacking return on LinkedIn as opposed to Facebook personal, Facebook business, or Instagram. But at least for LinkedIn, you know that there is a plethora of things that you can do if you set up a few other things ahead of time. All right, so let's dig into some of those engagement suggestions right now. Number 1, Facebook personal. We want you to post once per day if you're using that. You should be sharing someone else's post, like with your sphere of influence or a local influencer, also multiple times a day. We 100% believe that stories are becoming the most critical aspect of social media marketing going forward. So even on Facebook, whether you're sharing directly from Instagram or you're creating them in Facebook themselves. Facebook stories are absolutely required every day to see success as a real estate business. Number 2, your Facebook business page. Your Facebook business page has had ups and downs throughout years. At one time, it was the beautiful, beautiful beginnings of true, rich, organic content. It's pivoted recently to be much more friendly to paid advertisements and detailed marketing as it is to just generic content coming through organically. But you'll see that we say that you're posting nowadays 3 to 4 times per week. That has changed. We used to recommend doing everything daily, whether it was personal or business, everything was daily. We definitely think that any changes in your listing statuses or anything that's hard real estate, like new listings, reductions, all those things can be posted alongside of the 3 to 4 times per week. This 3 to 4 times per week allows you to have one pillar piece of content per week. But the biggest piece of success with your Facebook business page is the ability to advertise. And we'll show you exactly what you need to know with how to advertise, who to advertise to, what to advertise, what are some advanced things you can do. Use obviously our giveaways to go through and share those to capture leads directly from Facebook and Instagram. Facebook business page is really a place where you can get the most return for your money if you're spending it through advertising, okay? Number 3, Instagram business page. Our Instagram business page is there for a reason. It's the new boy on the block, but it still is tied close to Facebook. It allows you to get hyper local with your marketing and check in at any local business that has an Instagram page. And that gives you tremendous value as a local resource, which is what you are as a realtor. So think about it, Instagram business, if you don't already have it, as one of the first ways that you can jumpstart your hyper local content going into 2020. And our suggestions for posting on Instagram is this. We definitely think you should be posting video above photos whenever you can, period, end of story. We think that you should, as like with Facebook, be using Instagram stories daily, multiple times a day. That is where you're going to get a lot of the organic lift for your Instagram pages, your Facebook pages, etc. Right? So stories is what's going to carry you throughout a day. We think that you should be posting 4 to 5 pieces of video or photos, mainly video, per week as a regular old post. Remember, you still have to abide by the 1-minute rule, but if you are posting video content regularly, you can also sign up for Instagram TV, which will allow you to not only post your big full video if you're recording anything longer than a minute, but we'll scale that down for a minute-long version where it's kind of like a preview or a highlight. So you could be doing walkthroughs through Instagram and then post that on Instagram TV, but then you'll get your little preview 1 minute on your regular Instagram post, right? So we'll go more into depth with Instagram business later on, but for our basic standards, we think that you really should be posting video 4 to 5 times per week. You definitely should be adding to your Instagram story at least 4 times per day. And really, you're using it as a way to document the culture of whatever's going on in your local, the culture, the trends, and the life of your local market areas. That is what Instagram does best. But really, we think you should be using Instagram as a way to document the culture, the trends, and the life of your local market areas, because that is how Instagram works best. Hyper-local content, beautiful, beautiful, stunning imagery, this, that, and the other thing. Connection between people as fast as humanly possible. Use your Instagram. It is so beneficial if you're not already using it. Just start. Number 4, you'll see that we have Twitter listed as number 4. We mainly suggest that you use Twitter as a way to drum up new content or new contacts, right? And by that we mean you should be searching through your local trending topics every single morning. So if there is something that's powerful, it's going to be out on Twitter first. And that's a way for you to easily share content from Twitter. You find that piece of content and you could put it out on your Facebook page, your business profile, your whatever. You could share it into a local group if you're part of it. Imagine being the person that can jump onto Twitter and find that local trending topic, find the article, and share that over to their Facebook community group immediately. You are going to be the most popular person in that group, which will only help show you as the local expert and help get you more business in the future. We also think that Twitter can be used as a way to retweet local officials and really get interested in local stuff. So this is where you can start seeing local reporters talking about local news stories, local government agencies talking about projects they're doing, local mayors, local township people, local council members. All of those people have Twitters, and that's mainly what they use. So always, always, always keep your handle on Twitter and really follow up with what's happening in the world live. And last but not least, the big boy on the list, LinkedIn. Boy, LinkedIn has made such a comeback in the last few years with advertising methods, video content coming through, and all around gut job for what's going on within LinkedIn. LinkedIn is becoming one of the best places for you to jump in and get new business going into 2020. Of course, there are prerequisites that come with LinkedIn. We really think that you should have your own personal website set up that has pixels installed, trackers installed. We really think that you should have a good handle on whatever your video content is going to be, and also have a strong handle on any other blogs or any other things that you're going to be putting out on your own channels. Because LinkedIn works best sharing professional looking content to other professional people. So if you maybe have a past in business or accounting or finance or networking or whatever, LinkedIn is probably one of the better places for you going into 2020, where you keep that decorum about you. It doesn't have to show pictures of cats. LinkedIn doesn't work with pictures of cats or dogs or anything like that. It's not about pretty images. It's about giving you the most informative opinion as fast as humanly possible amongst fellow professionals. So coming up with LinkedIn content, we really think they should be posting similar standards to your Facebook business page. 3 to 4 postings per week. You should be utilizing their video posting abilities, and you really, really, really should be sending links to your own website so you can start drumming up some traffic there that can be retargeted in several ways later. And lastly, with LinkedIn, we think that you should be highlighting your professional programs also that are offered by your broker. So do you have any discount programs that you can regularly hype? Do you have any advantages to working with your company? Does your company put out blog posts? These are all things that LinkedIn works best with, all right? So mixing in that video content and those links from your own website and your brokers and some additional supplemental stuff is how LinkedIn works best. And you'll see here, we suggest Facebook use every single day and we suggest daily use of Facebook and Instagram. Those are the biggest places. Those have the most consumers on them. Every day you should be using at least those 2 social media machines, okay? Okay, our favorite part. We're gonna be identifying the different real estate topics and differentiating all of the styles of content that we produce and tell realtors to produce. Amongst all of our topics is our 3 styles. Let's do the 3 styles first so you have a better understanding of what we're talking about. Number 1, pillar content. As you can see here, those are big pieces of content. It takes a little higher production value and it takes more time to produce those pieces of content. So look right ahead and you'll see weekly video series highlighting the market areas, local businesses. You'll see a tips for buyers and sellers, whether you're doing a live video or you're doing a pre-recorded series. And you'll also be able to do maybe a neighborhood walk and a Q&A on Facebook Live. Those are all big pieces of content. And depending on where you live and how much time you have, those can be quite time consuming. Which is why we tell you to do 1 of those per week. And you can vary it as much as you want, right? Well, let's drop down below and let's look at some of the spiller content. And remember, spiller content, we're spilling the tea, we're telling the truth, we're giving you a behind the scenes look, we're showing you how the sausage is made, we're telling the truth. Discuss a recent bad day in real estate. We've all had them, every single one of us. Talk about how it was bad, why it was bad, and how you came out on top for yourself and your clients. Think about some of the top secrets that sellers and buyers must know. This is simple. This is where you can pull your mobile phone out, you can stare right into it, and you can just talk about, here are some things that buyers and sellers need to know right now. Keep it short, keep it sweet, and keep it to the point. Look at a couple of those examples right there, and maybe that'll get you geared up for creating your own content calendar going forward. Let's go down a little bit here. Let's look at some filler content. As you see, we provided much more filler content because this day and age, filler content is just that, it's filler. It's easy, it's quick, it's digestible, and it's gone. That's it. So we have simple stuff here, like doing a Facebook Live at an open house. If people are tuning in at that moment, or they're not tuning in at all, and you will get very little repeats out of that. Again, filler content. High quality filler content, but filler content nonetheless. Look across there. You can see, diagonal testimonial Tuesday. Pretty simple stuff. You could screenshot one of the reviews you got on Zillow and put a caption over top of it thanking those people. You can create a video that has a pop-up blurb and shows the people's picture and name. Whatever style and scale of content you want to do, you can do it. You could just talk into the camera. I mean, there's a million things you can do for Testimonial Tuesday, but that's why it's there. You can vary whatever you're doing within that, and so it's not looking exactly the same if you don't want it to. Keep going across. You can see a section where you are just talking about the in and outs of your real estate office. That's you doing a quick Instagram story or just a post of showing what your office looks like or how you redecorated it or whatever. Again, it keeps you top of mind in terms of real estate, but really it doesn't mean anything. Let's go down. Let's go down to the left-hand side, and you'll see some DIY tips for home improvement. Now, 2-3 years ago, you would have probably seen that DIY tips on a pillar piece of content, but it is no longer the case. Almost everyone and their mother have gone through and created a top DIY tips for homeowners, right? Whether they've created that as a vlog or a blog or whatever, it's lost its value as a strong piece of content. Now it just looks like filler to most people. So again, we kind of feel like it's filler. And last but not least on here, go find a local community event schedule and post it. Whether that's a big local blog if you live in a big city, or if it's a picture of your local newspaper. I mean, just show off a way to showcase your local community. Use your bandwidth as a way to take something and make it larger, right? So those are a couple of good examples of filler content going forward, all right? Let's move on down. There's a blank that's offered in here. I definitely think you guys should take some time right now, pause the video, and then fill in some basic concepts and ideas for some pillar content, some spiller content, and some filler content. I hope you guys are able to understand the differences between those three. All right, and if you're a little muddy, it's okay. Now, here is the big plan. This is the biggest piece of this strategy guide in 2020. It's creating your video content plan, all right? When we're developing our video content plan, listen, love it or hate it, it's here to stay. Video marketing is going to be exactly what you need to jump you forward against all of your peers in 2020. So let's break down some simple and easy to use video content strategies going forward. You can probably see a trend with us. We like 5 of everything, all right? So this is also a mini plan that's broken down into 5 distinct sections. We're gonna cover those right now, all right? Let's give you a little gloss over. 1, define the purpose of the videos. 2, identify the video topics and styles. Number 3, hire a professional, or are you gonna do it DIY? Number 4, you're gonna write a rough draft of your videos. And number 5, plan your placement, distribution, and advertisement budget of your videos, okay? That's very crucial. It'll help you think about all of the other costs associated with producing videos if you know how much you're willing to spend in the end, all right? So let's go ahead and get started with number 1. Number 1, why are you creating video content? Are you trying to increase traffic to your website? Are you trying to enhance trust around the local community? Are you trying to showcase local businesses? Just come up with a reason why you're doing this, right? It'll help inform what the premise is eventually. Number 2, what are some topics you would feel most comfortable presenting on live video? Remember, we can always pre-record things later, but live video has an essence unlike anything else. And if you're thinking in the mindset of live video, that's just only gonna help you if you're doing pre-recorded video because you know what you're gonna say ahead of time. You're not just trying to wing it all the way through one thing after another. So what are some topics that you know through and through? What are some issues that you could talk about with real estate with your eyes closed and just go? Think about those things and write them down on your strategy guide right now. Number 3, will your video project require a professional or can you shoot it yourself? Can you use a mobile phone? Write down some local professionals and find some equipment that you would need right here. Think about it. If you can shoot it yourself, like live video, that's going to save you a tremendous amount of money and resources that you can use for other things. I would rather use live video or pre-recorded video on a basic camera than spend thousands of dollars having a videographer record me. Spend the thousands of dollars recording your listings and getting better drone video and walkthrough video of your listings. They'll sell faster. That's a better way to spend money on a professional, in our opinion. Number 4, pick some of your favorite topics from the past section and write down a simple outline going from start to finish, okay? Sketch out your ideas. If you're thinking about doing a tips video, what are the tips? How many tips will you provide? Where will you shoot it? How long is it gonna be? Think about all of those things right there. And remember, it's pretty easy to fill up 3 to 5 minutes of video if you're just talking into a camera. So really just try to stick to a vague gloss over of it, and then you can go into finer details much later, all right? And last but not least, as part of our video content plan, we have number 5. That's sketching out all the things you need in terms of an advertisement, distribution, and budget, all right? So let's think about where are our videos gonna be found? Are you gonna put them on YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, your website, etc.? How are you gonna get those videos to spread? Are you going to be spending money on advertisements? Are you going to ask other people to post them for you? Are you going to ask your friends and family to share them? How are you going to get those videos to spread? And the third part of that, where are you going to find the money and how are you going to spend the money? Do you know how to create Facebook advertisements? Can you hire someone to do it? What are you going to be able to do and how much money are you willing to spend per video? Okay? Share your thoughts right there. Write everything down that you can think of. Now that you've gone through those 5 steps, your video content plan can be reused over and over and over again. Think of other video series to do. If you did something about tips for buyers and sellers, let's think of some other ways around that. Maybe we want to talk about some decorating, or maybe we want to do local business highlights, or interviews with the school board members. Think of other ways to use this video strategy to create more and more and more videos. That's going to help you just further down the line. You can think about all of the small details later. Just sketch out the ideas for these videos, because I can assure you, I can assure you that few of your competitors are doing any of this legwork. And our very last step in our social media strategy guide for 2020 is number 5. That is creating a full year real estate content calendar. Lucky for you, if you've watched this video, you can head to our store and pick up our calendar for, guess what? $5, of course, $5. It has 365 days of ideas to help you sketch out pillar content, spiller content, and filler content. Now, we don't give you any of those posts ourselves because the value of you creating the video yourself is infinitely better, but what we do give you is the idea you need to get it started. And that's all you really need in this day and age. You got a mobile phone, you have a social media profile, you have a topic, talk. So that's it, realtors. I hope that you've enjoyed this strategy guide build. I hope that you can head to our store and pick up your real estate content calendar for only $5. That's right, $5. And it will give you a solid jump ahead for going into 2020 with everything you need to have an effective, winning, lead generating social media strategy. Thanks a lot.